Testing the Waters for Possible Candidacy, and an online presentation of the FEC Information Division. This presentation is intended to help individuals who are considering a run for federal office understand the campaign finance rules that apply to them during the pre-candidacy exploratory or testing the waters period. We'll begin by defining the term candidate, then describe the distinctions between testing the waters and campaigning. Finally, we'll offer some tips for organizing your testing the waters effort. Most of us think of a candidate as someone who's running for office, but not everyone who meets this common sense definition of candidate meets the legal definition found in the FEC regulations. Under FEC rules, a candidate is someone who has raised or spent more than $5,000 campaigning for federal office. Individuals who meet that definition must register with the FEC and file regular reports to disclose their campaign's receipts and disbursements. However, an exception to that rule allows individuals who merely test the waters for a possible candidacy to exceed the $5,000 threshold without having to register or file reports. This testing the waters exemption will be the focus of this presentation. So what exactly does testing the waters mean? Essentially, it refers to the activities an individual may engage in to explore the feasibility of becoming a candidate. FEC regulations include examples of testing the waters activities, including conducting polls, making phone calls, and traveling within the state or district. As long as the individual's activities are limited to exploring the viability of a potential candidacy and not campaigning, the testing the waters exemption applies and no FEC registration or reporting is required. Certain statements and activities indicate that an individual has moved past testing the waters and has begun to actively campaign for federal office. Some examples of this include making or authorizing statements that refer to themselves as a candidate, like Smith in 2018 or Smith for Senate, publicizing a candidate's intention to run through general political advertising such as ads in newspapers, on TV, billboards, or conducting phone banking, raising more money than is reasonably needed to test the waters or funds to be used after a candidacy is established, conducting exploratory activities over an extended period of time or shortly before the election, or taking action to qualify for the ballot. Individuals who engage in these activities may need to register if they have raised or spent more than $5,000. The testing the waters provision is only a registration and reporting exemption. All of the money raised and spent to test the waters must comply with the limits and prohibitions of the federal law. For example, a potential candidate cannot accept contributions from corporations or labor unions, and contributions from individuals must not exceed specific limits. This is why it is important to keep detailed records of all receipts and disbursements during the testing the waters period. That way, if the individual becomes a candidate, the campaign will be ready to disclose all of the activity on its first report. It's a good idea to open a separate bank account for testing the waters efforts. If the individual triggers candidacy, that account can become the campaign account required by federal law. If you decide to set up a testing the waters bank account, you'll need to contact the IRS to get a tax ID number. When you establish an exploratory committee or bank account, be sure to include exploratory or testing the waters in the name. As illustrated in these examples, failure to do so could trigger candidacy. Let's look at an example to see how the testing the waters exemption works. Mary Jones is interested in running for a seat in the House of Representatives. She is not sure if she has enough support to make a successful bid, so she wants to test the waters first. She collects money from family and friends, making sure that nobody gives more than the law allows. Before long, she's raised more than $5,000, keeping records of how much each person gave her and when she received the money. She uses some of the money to travel around her district to gauge voters' interest in her potential candidacy. Throughout her travels, she's careful not to refer to herself as a candidate. She uses the rest of the money she's raised to conduct an opinion poll. The results indicate that she has good name recognition in her district and would stand a good chance of winning the election in her district if she were to run. Based on those results, she announces her candidacy. By doing so, Ms. Jones has crossed the line from testing the waters to campaigning. Since she's collected over $5,000, she must now register with the FEC as a candidate using the Statement of Organization FEC Form 1 and the Statement of Candidacy FEC Form 2. Her campaign will be required to report all the receipts and disbursements during testing the waters on its first FEC report. What if the polling results had turned out differently and Mary decided not to run for office? As long as she hadn't declared her candidacy or otherwise engaged in campaigning, she would not need to register with the FEC or to report the funds she received and spent for testing the waters activity. For more information on testing the waters, please consult the Campaign Guide for Congressional Candidates and Committees and read the April 2017 Testing the Waters article in the FEC record. To learn more about registering as a candidate for federal office, watch our candidate registration presentation on the FEC's YouTube channel. The Federal Election Commission is committed to helping individuals comply with federal campaign finance laws. In addition to the compliance information we provide on our website, we maintain a toll-free information line you can call for help without having to identify yourself. We respond within 5 business days to questions sent by email, and we conduct conferences throughout the country, host webinars on a variety of topics, and post e-learning videos like this one on our website and YouTube channel. We encourage you to use these resources and look forward to serving you.